I'm LaNisha Cassell. I'm the executive director of the African American Museum of Iowa, and I've been with the museum for a little over 5 years, and actually in the state of Iowa for going on 17 years. So I'm really happy to be here with the museum and to have been in Cedar Rapids for this amount of time and to really have grown in the community and here at the museum. I'm really excited to be here.
Yay, congrats. Yes, it is such a pleasure to meet you. Well, we would love for you to tell your story, your background, where you came from, how you got into where you are today.
I think I have a very typical story of my spouse brought me here. I am from Washington, D.C. I was born in D.C. and I was raised in Maryland, went to school and went to college in Maryland, pursued my bachelor's degree in English and a minor in public relations. And so I met my husband, Carl, who's from Cedar Rapids, or grew up in Cedar Rapids. When he left Iowa State, or when he graduated from Iowa State and moved to the Maryland area, we actually met at a camp, a youth Christian camp in New York. We were adult counselors, and so we met. We were about 30, and things happened really quickly. We met. He proposed really fast, about 6 months. We got married 6 months after that, and then he had opportunity to move back to Cedar Rapids to be the executive director of Jane Boyd Community House. So Jane Boyd brought me to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, along with my husband. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell in terms of how I got to Iowa. And we moved here maybe 2 days after we got married. So June 12th is our 17th wedding anniversary. Yeah. And so that's been great. We have 2 children, Lydia, who is 16, and Solomon, who just turned 12 on Sunday. We've been loving life and really trying to be active participants in the community and in our professional careers and in our personal life as well. So we definitely have loved our journey here in Cedar Rapids.
That is fantastic. That is so cool. How you guys, now I love that. I love your story of like how you met, you proposed, and all the great things like that. And happy anniversary, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, tell us more about your current role, what you do, all those great things like that, how it's impacted you and how it's brought you to what you do today.
Sure. Well, as I mentioned before, my background is in English and public relations, fundraising, really, which I did before I came to the museum when I was with the Marian School Foundation for 11 years. But, when I got to the museum, I was, it was definitely a huge difference from what I had been used to before. But I was excited by the new challenge of running a museum. I don't have a museum background at all. I think that was probably a strength. I didn't get caught up in, what the curator was going to be doing and what the educator was going to be doing. Certainly a concern and part of all of the process and all of what we do, but I could focus more on leading the team, becoming a part of the community, learning the community, learning the museum, and fostering and really cultivating some of those relationships with the community, with our donors, with our partners, and all the important stakeholders that can make or break a nonprofit organization, but also who can really become advocates and ambassadors about what we do. So that was what I spent my first few years, and what's ongoing is really cultivating those relationships. And again, I do a lot of the fundraising and development for the museum, and that's not just here in Cedar Rapids, but across the entire state. So cool. Because we have a statewide presence. So obviously a lot of it takes place within the corridor, but as we continue to hone our craft here at the museum, it's really about raising visibility and awareness across the state about Black history, and not just Cedar Rapids Black history, but all of Iowa's Black history, and hopefully eventually it'll just be Iowa history. So that's my ultimate goal.
Way cool. I love that. So, just like anybody, right? With every accomplishment, there are challenges. We all kind of know that. Any words of advice for anyone that's in a similar situation, that you're in, or just trying to get their feet on the ground or get started?
Well, there's so much great wisdom that I've gotten from peers and mentors over the years. But I think the thing that comes to mind for me is fundraising. And, you always get those no's when you do your ask, you get a no. And sometimes I think it's important to remember, all the time, it's important to remember that a no doesn't always mean that it's going to stay a no. Sometimes it's a no for now. And I think it's really important to establish and grow your donor relations and remember that it's an ongoing process that requires authenticity, patience, perseverance, and thoughtfulness. So that's, I think, just knowing that no doesn't always mean forever no.
Very, very true. And a very, very great thing to run by in fundraising, 100%. Well, this is kind of our fun round. It's called our speed round. All those great things like that, where we get to kind of, learn like little one-off things about you and a fun thing.
Sure.
So my first question is favorite author or book, past or present, or favorite movie?
Oh, cool. I didn't even know about the movie part.
Yeah.
But I do have a response for this. So I think I have a lot of favorites, but C.S. Lewis is a great author. I love a lot of his books, but the one that stands out for me is Mere Christianity, which was really eye-opening and a reaffirming book for me early in my faith journey as a Christian. So that was definitely a key book for me.
I love it. That's way cool. Best advice you've ever received from anybody from school time to now?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I had a lot of thoughts on this, but the one thing that remained, I think that it really speaks across a lot of different areas, is listening first and speaking if necessary.
Ooh. I love that. That's way
important.
Listening is very, very important. My next question, who is your hero or who inspires you every day?
Okay, so my husband, Carl, is my hero. He inspires me every day to pursue my personal and professional growth on a continual basis. He always reinforces there's always more to learn and there's always ways to do better. So he's my hero.
Oh, I love that.
He exemplifies that.
Shout out for Carl. I love it. Favorite place to eat or shop local? And you can have more than one.
Thank you. Oh my God.
You're welcome.
Because first of all, I love eating. I'm a foodie. I like to eat. I like to cook. But when I go out, my go-to places, I'm going to name a few of them: Dash Coffee Roasters, Mixed Sushi and Kitchen, Caribbean Kitchen, the food truck, Jamaican Pat, yay. And then my favorite sweet treat is from the Cheesecake Lady.
Ooh, it's a good one. It's a good one. I love it. And then I've been throwing this one in. This was not on our pre-list that I sent over. What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
That's hard. So pretty much anything Haagen Daz.
Ooh.
I like Haagen Daz.
I love it.
It doesn't really matter what flavor. I don't think I'm necessarily vanilla, but I can go from vanilla to what's the one with the marshmallows and the nuts and oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
Like a Rocky Road?
Yes. What am I thinking? But I can do vanilla and I can do Rocky Road and anything in between.
Ooh, I love it. My type of girl. I'm making all kinds of great one-offs. Like I love coffee with caramel and pecans. I was like, they make coffee ice cream? What?
Yes, they do. It's very good.
I did not know that. I'm like, I'm learning so much.
Some things we just don't need to know, right?
No, that's probably very true. That is probably very true.
Right.
My last question for you is in your own words. What does this award mean? Receiving this award mean to you, and how who has helped you along your journey?
Is it okay that I prepared something to say for this part? Okay, cool. I'd like to do that then. So I'm really excited about this award, and it means so much. And I just want to thank the Gazette, of course, and Farmer State Bank for this honor. It does mean a lot to me, especially right now in this moment. And being a role model isn't something that I think you really get to decide on. I think you just become that sometimes, for better or worse. And when you're in the spotlight, you have an opportunity to be a positive influence or not. And so this recognition is special because my daughter Lydia can see what is possible and she can strive to succeed no matter what the obstacles might be. In addition to my husband, Carl, and our children, I mentioned Lydia, and we also have our son, Solomon. There are many people who have helped me along the way. There's so many people who have guided me, like my mom, Alexis, my late mother-in-law, Harriet, my aunt, Leola, and Mrs. Humbles, Nancy Humbles, who's also the museum board chair this year. And there's so many in my circle of faith community as well. There are many unsung heroes in this community who have made me who I am today. And it really does take a village. And I've had a great village throughout my entire journey here.